start off with on this other side, of course, with my panelists who are already here, looking pretty. The person I'm about to introduce to you is not new to you. She was here. You know, she did this thing for a while. So I'm even feeling like I should be the one on that side. But anyway, with me is Faith Muturi, and of course with her is her husband, George Ngugi. I can actually say Faith and George Ngugi, right?
Hello.
That's fine. Kablamni shoot. Kablamni shoot. And then next to them I have Martha and Sasino Sijeni. I hope I said it right?
Yeah, you did.
Hey, we thank God. So I'm really excited to have them in studio. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
In this mood of love, you can tell even for us we are humbled. We're normally hyped and dancing all over, but today we're just quiet and looking all nice and quiet. So karibuni sana. Really nice to have you guys in studio. So today we're talking about partnership in marriage, but of course this is a general topic. We have a lot that happens in marriages, and of course there's the process of courtship. First of all, dating. For believers, it starts with courtship, I believe, and then of course getting into marriage. But before we get to that, maybe I'll ask, what do we mean when we say partnership in marriage? Okay. Maybe Faith, you want to take it?
Okay. First, hi everybody. Oh, now which camera? I don't know camera stories anymore. Right there.
Hey.
What's up, Mo? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Mzito alipita na wewe ng'aa mpaka kwa studio. What's happening? I forgive you, bro. Yeah, karibuni sana.
Mo hajaacha uchokozi.
Hajaacha, by the way.
But then you are dissing Grace and I'm like, oh my goodness, you know.
Yeah.
Some things never change.
Yeah.
They
But
don't.
now the pressure is different. Trust me, it's harder to be on that side.
Right?
It's easier to be on that side. I think answering the questions is pressure. So I'm like, what was the question? Anyway, thanks for having us, guys.
You're
We're very
welcome.
grateful.
Yes.
It's being here and being back. Tunashukuru sana. On to the question.
Yes.
Good morning, viewers.
As we begin.
Thank you for your question. You thought
You knew it, right? You saw it coming.
we have to look like we are guests. And, yeah.
So I think maybe I could just begin, or touch on, we're really excited to be here.
Okay.
I could just start off in the beginning, which is Genesis,
Yeah.
when in Genesis 2, when the Lord said that in the beginning he created man in his own image, or rather he said, let us create man in our image. And you know, he created all of, put together all of creation, birds, animals, fish, see all the features we see today. But it's interesting because God said, this man, it's not right for him to be alone. And he saw that this man yani he has the whole world. That guy was the richest man that ever walked.
Existed, yeah.
That ever existed. But he was not okay. So he put him to a deep sleep. And while he was asleep, and I think you all know this story from Genesis 2, he took his rib and from it formed woman. Or rather formed a helper, a partner.
Yes.
And I think if we were to say that partnership, if we were to probably go back and try and trace back where it starts, I think it starts probably at that point. Because God said that let there be a helper. If you read it, says let there be a helper for man. And when man came up and, you know, he saw her, he said, she's amazing, and said she's woman, you know.
Yes.
So as a Christian, as a believer, I believe the foundation of the entire principle of partnership is in God's creation. God created for us to be, for a man to have a woman as a helper.
Okay.
So partnership is God's idea.
Okay.
Marriage is God's idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we saying partnership is only to come together and procreate?
No, not at all. But I think
Because
that's
some
where-
people would look at it that way. The
Yeah.
Bible says, go and subdue the earth, you know,
And
multiply.
multiply.
Yeah.
But that's I like what you said about subdue the earth.
Yes.
I think this guy had a lot of work. I mean, imagine taking care of the whole earth and everything in it. So he had a whole lot of work to do. So he needed a helper. But what I like about the last part you said about multiply, it's a function of getting the work done. In fact, if you trace back history to like times like we had the agrarian revolution, when people used to work farms, people actually have children
Yeah.
as a labor.
To till the farm.
Yeah, it works both ways.
Yes.
A marriage is for definitely partnership and companionship and friendship, but also from it come forth children, come forth family, and the Bible also says that a man with many children is like someone with a quiver full of arrows.
Yes.
So children are like weapons.
Yes.
So you're stronger as partners, and God blesses you with children.
Yeah. Okay.
So just a plus.
Great. I really want to stay with you guys before I come to the journeys.
Yeah.
I want to ask the concept of partnership. Is it developed or do you
Yeah.
find it? Is it automatic? Like when you guys, maybe when you can tell us when you were courting, did you find that aspect there, or did you find it later on in marriage?
You know, and I like how he said the basis is God's word.
Okay.
Vile mzee amesema, Bwana asifiwe sana.
Yeah, as you build up on it.
So, but yeah, it's absolutely from God. But then it's in every way. I think partnership is physical, emotional, spiritual, social. In every way, you partner together.
Okay.
And when you say the two became one, I think the oneness is a journey.
Okay.
It's not just intimacy, you know, and all that. I think it's a journey. You continue being one, and it starts from when you're courting. I'll give an example. We like sharing this a lot because, you know, numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
But they say the top two things breaking marriages in Kenya are finances and in-laws. And at times it's because
Finances and in-laws. Wow, interesting.
I know you'd think it's infidelity.
I
That's
thought
what
so,
number
yeah.
3 for.
Yeah,
I know.
okay.
And there's a friend of ours who said that infidelity at times starts with the money.
It's connected.
Then it
they're
could show up.
related, yeah.
Because simply people are not, so we are able to be intimate physically and be open. But when it comes to money, ni story ingine. So partnership starts even when you're courting. How much do you earn? Uko na deni gani? You know?
Niambie mapema.
Niambie tu mapema. So you start partnering and doing things right early. So
Great.
partnership in marriage, and that's the thing about two becoming one. Even for if you're single out there, it's not so much just, Lord, I'm praying for a spouse. It's how am I dealing with my life? How your in-laws and in-law issues are not because in-laws started issues. It's the issues you never worked out before.
Foundational issues.
Foundational issues are multiplied times. If you had unforgiveness issues, now they are multiplied because there are more issues. So the oneness starts when you meet each other, but are you whole as one?
Okay.
As a single person, but as you come together in marriage, you can be one. But I think the process for those guys who are dating or looking forward to it, are you one? Are you dealing with your finances? Are you dealing with your social life? Do you have friends that build you, or do you have friends that pull you down? Because now when you're married, it'll be harder. So partnership is a journey. The oneness doesn't happen where it's not magic, but it's not wedding night. We are one.
And even just the fact
And
that
you
you're
are
from,
alive
from,
there.
from
It
different
doesn't,
backgrounds, we have, you know, like we form a family, yes, but we both have a family of origin.
Okay.
So
Oh,
what's the profile of the
absolutely.
family of origin? What was your family like? What are the things you were trying to overcome? Because some of those things carry into the marriage from both sides. So when we say we're trying to form partnership, it's a continuous process, and you really need to be aware of yourself and what's really going on with you as a person, and that person as a person before you come together and try and now become one.
All right. So it starts from courtship. Amazing. So we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, of course, we'll be talking to the C Jennies. That name, hey, C Jennies.
But you're doing well.
Yeah, I have to be very careful.
You got it.
We'll be talking to them, and of course building up on the aspect of courtship, and of course administering partnership from the moment of courtship. Yeah. So we take a short break. Don't touch that dial.
Crossover.
So beautiful, you're so beautiful.
Watu wengi wanasema about trust, loving, praying for each other, but we'll be saying more about that. So, Grace, what do you have on that side?
I'm just laughing at the comments that people are sending. Huyu
Yes.
amesema anangoja comments za couples kwanza.
Alafu
Ndio
atakomment baadaye.
comment. Because he's single.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, continue sending in your feedback. Of course, we'll be clarifying on some things. I've seen somebody saying that love is the center, is the central thing in a marriage, and I want the panelists to speak about that later on in the show, because I don't know whether love is the main thing in a marriage, or are there other things, and of course we'll be building up on that. So before we took a short break, we were talking to the Googies about partnership and how it is developed, either developed or it is automatic, and it is very clear that this is something that is dealt with even during courtship. I want to talk to the C Jennies. How was it for you guys when you were in courtship? Did you realize it then, or did you realize it in marriage?
Realize what?
Partnership.
Oh, partnership. You see, just like the way the Ngugis said, marriage does not bring people, does not make it one. Like you signing that certificate doesn't make you become one. So the thing about marriage that is very unique is the power of agreement. There is power in agreeing. And when you start courting is when the agreeing starts. So that you start to agree that, by the way, this is how we should raise our children. By the way, this is how we should use the money. By the way, this is what we should do before we get married and after we get married. So that is how it starts. You start by agreeing, and that is how you even know your mate, because of the things that you agree on. The things that you disagree on that are, you know, deal breakers for you are what make you realize, by the way, I can't be with this guy. Because on this one thing that is a deal breaker for me, we don't agree. So when you move on into marriage, now the agreement starts to move mountains, so to say, so to speak, because in your agreeing, you get children. In your agreeing, you make companies. In your agreeing, you know, you transform lives. And so that is like now the flip side of from being single to getting into marriage and in regards to partnering.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those have to be determined early. If you do get into marriage and you did not talk about it in courtship, that's the beginning of war.
Yeah.
Because then your kids come and the kids actually bring out the worst in us because they begin you begin to have issues of discipline where you need to discipline the kids. So that in itself is the biggest partnership you have, because you have to raise these kids in a specific way. Those agreements you made during partnership, during courtship, are the ones that will sustain you during that time. If then it wasn't clarified, then discipline and training of a child becomes a problem, because then you're struggling in trying to see what this other person thinks on those issues that we're even talking about in terms of finances. So what do we want to teach our kids about finances? What do we want to teach our kids about God? Because then we have church. If she prefers to stay at home on Sunday and not go to church, and my kids need to see that we are both going to church, we have a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the disagreement brings almost like breaking, because the children are now torn between, do we listen to mom or do we listen to dad?
Exactly.
Okay, great. I want to raise a question, and I've seen this happen with so many people, even when they come for counseling. Like, for example, people will say, you know, we've never been compatible. You know, my job is this one, my job is this one. We are clashing because we are not in agreement. And maybe George, you can answer this. Maybe you can answer this. The place of believers, you know, we are called to different things. Is it important for you to be compatible from the beginning? And by this I mean even your vision, because I'm imagining in order for me to support you, I mean for Faith to support you as your wife and for you to support her as her husband, there needs to be that merge in terms of vision. What would you say about it?
I think it's a yes. The answer is, the easy and short answer is yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, it's important for us to be compatible, because they say two cannot walk unless they agree.
Yeah.
No, because I don't think there are any two people on this planet who are the same. The same reason why we have a unique fingerprint. Even your own sibling, you're not the same.
Okay.
So I think it's a bit of both.
All right.
But also, you know, I just, you know, you laughed, I said the common term people say we are splitting because of irreconcilable differences.
We are not compatible anymore, so
you know, we can't be together. But the thing is, you are not compatible from the start, you know. And the thing about marriage and coming together, it's often about two imperfect people. You're imperfect, and acknowledging that I am not perfect, she is not perfect, but we are willing to be together and start a life together, and like Martha said, start companies, serve God together, in spite of our limitations, in spite of our imperfections. And the same way God has loved us and invited us into sonship with Him, that we are His children, we are righteous by having faith in Him, not because we are perfect, not by our works. Similarly, in fact, I like to say that, and I've heard many speakers say that God uses family as a perfect picture of how He relates with us, because He's our Father. He has a Son who He gave to us. He's invited us into sonship. We are brothers and sisters in Christ. So in the Bible, there are so many metaphors of family. So similarly, the way God has taken us as we are imperfect, and He walks with us, He blesses us, He guides us, He directs us. We didn't have to be perfect for Him to accept us. But what makes the relationship between man and God beautiful is because He is a perfect God, and He has accepted us, and He has forgiven us in spite of, you know, all our limitations. Similarly, I think as a man, taking and it's very clear even in Ephesians, your scripture of the day is Ephesians. For me I have to love my wife, and it's not to say that she will not do anything that will cause me to be upset, you know, and she has to respect me. It's very clear, but it's because we are both imperfect. By me overcoming that and loving her, that's, I think, getting to as close as possible as you can in mirroring Christ, in mirroring God, that, you know, it's loving and accepting in spite of limitations. And that's not easy. That's not easy. I know you're looking at you thinking about, you like, I can't do this. That's what marriage is.
We have a friend who says, when people tell him we are irreconcilable, he's like, yeah, you definitely do. He's a man, you're a woman. In like just that, the men and women are just, the issue from Mars and Venus is true. We see North they see south, or we see south, they see north. But I think the biggest thing is, are you growing in character?
Okay.
Because personalities change, which is fine. Seasons of life change. I like people not to say about vision, have a similar vision. But the reality in life, someone's vision at 20, and when they get to 40, their vision changes.
Yeah, because
Majority
it's
of
revealed
people,
in part.
absolutely. Majority of people in their 50s, did you think you'd go this way? They're like, no. So, and that's why the Bible says love conquers all.
Yeah.
Even vision will perish. Do you get it? Gifts will perish, but love remains. And people wonder, so what is love? Love is character. When you say patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, love is character.
Okay.
So as long as you're growing in character, then character will keep you reconciled. It's like the glue that keeps you together. It's like a building. And there's a friend of ours who told us, you can have a church. If a church building, the biggest, most beautiful church building, actually Dr. Mkolwe, crumbled, what will you see? When it's all crumbled, what will you see? Stones. And he said, if a prison crumbles, what will you see? Stones. So is it the prison versus the church? What builds it? Stones. Do you get it? But what held you together? What made it the church? So we are stones, and you can end up being a prison, or you
Or a
can
church.
end up being a church,
great.
but you can't say this stone couldn't build. Does that make sense? So, and that's why I started right, grow in character, love is character, and as I said, God gives us a character. Then you'll be
Great.
able to reconcile. Why? There are people who, irrespective, and definitely if you're in a risky situation, you need to get help.
Okay.
There is no question about it.
Right.
But there's no relationship that's irreconcilable as long as both of you are willing to grow in character. Then it's restorable. No matter how bad your sin has been,
Okay.
God can restore.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to acknowledge Team, the violinist. In the background, you can hear some really nice music. The violinist is called Team. So we move to the CJ. Hey, okay. To Martha and Sasino.
Say CJs.
The CJs.
Yeah, the CJs.
CJs. Well, okay, Sawa. Martha and Sasino.
Yeah.
So, building upon what they've talked about, the aspect of love being the central bit of a relationship or a marriage, I want you to talk to the singles now. You know, because people say, as long as I'm in love with you, you're in love with me, we can make a marriage. Is that really true?
Not really.
Please build up on it. Please build up. I'm in love. I mean, I'm head over heels.
Actually, just yesterday we had a group. We're talking to a dream center on Karen Langata South Road, and one of the things that they kept asking was, what do I need to be sure that this is the person? And I keep telling people, you see, when you feel that feeling of love,
Yeah.
that feeling of love is just chemicals going through your head. It's what
I like that.
dopamine,
It's chemi-
and serotonin going through your head. And
Chemistry.
It's just chemistry. It's drugs. It's a drug that's running through your head, and that drug you get used to.
Okay.
You get used to. Hata ukivuta nini, but this is a Christian show. Even if you do drugs, you want to step it up.
Yeah.
The problem with our generation currently, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if we are still counted as this generation. How much has it?
We are in this generation.
But the problem now is whenever these chemicals, we get used to the chemicals and they no
Yeah.
longer have that effect of causing our hearts to race,
Yeah.
we think love is over. So we stop. And as guys had the privilege yesterday of listening to some guys as they talked about the different kinds of love. And they said once that love, the eros, the feeling of I want to be with you and hold your hand and all those things, once that is over,
Yeah.
then the agape love steps in. And that they said this is Pastor Nee, Reverend Nee, and his wife Esther said agape now becomes the shock absorbers of the love.
Yeah.
Once eros is done, even with phileo, with your family, once you kosana,
Yeah.
it is the agape that causes you to still
It's what keeps you
back
together.
together.
Okay.
nipele trouser with the people. It's that keeps us together. So even for the singles, just thinking that feeling is what will sustain your marriage is not it.
And so in that sense, I think it is correct to say that love is the central, but not the love for romantic love. It is the love of God. And you see, and those guys said something very interesting that, all these different types of love, there's eros love, family love, friend love. You don't owe everyone friend love. You don't owe everyone eros love. You don't owe everyone family love, but you owe everyone
Agape. That's true.
love.
Yes.
The unconditional love that regardless of whatever you do, I will still choose to be kind to you. I will still choose to be faithful in whatever that I have promised, to forgive you. That is the love that is also the backbone of any kind of love, really, even in a marriage relationship.
Yeah.
So, but it has to start with a foundation, okay? I have to understand then who God is, then how he loves, and how he requires that I love. So, and in that regard, then love becomes essential. It's just not the kind of love you think. It's the kind of love you're required to have to all humanity. So that if Sasino and I kosana, what will make me come back and still cook for him, or he'll still hold my hand when we are crossing the road. You know, and we've you know, we are at loggerheads. It's because of that love that God has required of us to have.
And that is what keeps you.
That's what keeps everyone.
Yes. So apart from the lovey-dovey, apart from the chemicals that are happening in our heads, what keeps us together is the agape love, the love that is from God. I like that. And so in that regard, how do you solve conflicts then when you're in that place? Maybe we can start with you, then come to the cookies.
Yeah. I think, first of all, just laying the foundation of agape love, it is important to know that, imagine if God has forgiven him, who am I? I can't ati jifanya now, your sin is too big for me to forgive. So first of all, it has to come from a place of, by the way, this marriage is here to stay.
Yeah.
That being out of the way, okay, there's this conflict. First, let me tell you that I will forgive you. Might not be now, but you know, I will
take a while.
forgive you.
Yeah.
I might not forget,
Eventually.
but I will have to forgive you. So with that being the foundation, then when we're having conflicts, like me and Sasino, when we're having conflicts, and we fight, like, you know, like we fight.
Not physically.
Not physically, okay, it's good.
Not physically.
But
But we fight, and it's the most important thing that I think I got to understand eventually was that he's not against me. He is for me, even as he's telling me, Martha squeeze, you don't touch me enough. And this is a fight.
Wow.
You know? So when I am confident that he is not against me, whatever it is that he's asking me, if there's that kagal, Sasino, why are you texting this kagal? He realizes that I'm not saying that when in Simbaya, but rather this what you're doing is what I don't agree with. So when I know that he is for me, and when he knows that I am for him, then the conflict can never really aggravate to levels of irreconcilable differences. Because we've set a foundation of, by the way, ninakupenda regardless of tabia zako mbaya. You get, like, just in a crude way.
And actually,
The way you are.
The way you are.
And that it had to still also be a conversation we had when we were courting. When he said, me, I'm not a good guy. Me, I'm not perfect, just as George was saying. So it had to be a conversation of, so now that we know we are both not good people, now that we know we are entering into a marriage relationship, then we need to figure out how we are going to get through. So we decided how we fight is what determines all this. So we have to figure out a way to go through the fighting without shredding each other. Because a lot of times you do irreconcilable differences, because by the time that one argument is done, you've shredded your partner, but there is no place for shika chakula yako, because it's so because it's gone really bad.
Okay, great.
So we had to even set rules of engagement. So how do I tell her she's wrong? How do I tell her that she's done something bad? And how does she tell me?
And how do I respond?
Yes.
All right, great. Before you answer that, maybe one question. Do you think the generation we're in, people get in with the knowledge of I can get out anytime? Do you think that has gone, has encouraged marriages to break? Do you think?
In fact, I think one of the biggest problems we have, even before getting in, if you can call it getting in proper, we have a major issue of people, like, for lack of a better word, trying. We try and do life. We see how it goes.
If it doesn't work, neither.
Come it work. So even before you get formally, before you put pen to paper, before you plan a wedding, it's a major issue we have, including some Christians, where you find it easier to let's just live together, let's share the bills, let's see whether you know, and that in itself is a very major act of, or let me say, lack of faith. You don't have faith in this other person, you don't have faith in God.
Yes.
And they say that sometimes it doesn't get any easier, because if you try with one person, you feel and fail, you try with the second person or third person, the common denominator is you. The only thing that is happening when you change relationships is you're changing another person, but you're not changing. So you are the common denominator. And so it's important to at least acknowledge that I'm not perfect. Like how Sasino said, I'm not perfect. And two imperfect people, you are not perfect. But we have to be broken to each other. We have to be broken before God. And say that once we are in this, forsaking all others, you know, it doesn't matter whether I had not met, I don't know who. This is the person I feel the Lord has given you to me as my helper, as a man. I mean, I'm your, to the lady, you're your priest, protector, whatever it is. And you come together, and then now you build that. Because also what happens when you split up, they say that sometimes it's easy to split up because the relationship went south. And maybe you were together 5 years, maybe you dated for 2 years. The reality is, it's like your relationship was a child. If you try and cut this relationship to go and start a new relationship, it's like getting a new child. You start from nursery or from diapers with another person. So you really lose all this progress you had with.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Can I share something?
Yeah.
We had our baby Lemuel. He's like 14. Oh yeah, he's 14
months
months today. And he loves his food. Food is not a problem. Then people are like, oh, my child is not eating. Us, that's not the problem. But now he got to this phase where there is a certain food. I can't remember what it was. He didn't like. So the help was like, hey, Appendio, he likes ugali. I told her no. We have a very nice help. Her name is Mercy. I was like, we're raising this boy. If he won't take this food, he will be hungry later. And this we were taught when we went to parenting class. The child will be hungry, he'll eat. But what I teach him at 1 year, at 14 months is, if you don't like this food, acha tumpe ile anataka. Do you get it? And you find a child 2 years only eats one food. What does it mean? 3 times a day, he doesn't have perseverance. Do you get it? So I told her, when you keep changing his food, he'll keep learning not to persevere, not to learn to enjoy any food. By 2 years, there are only 2 foods we are giving him. It is with that with parents nowadays. But let him eat the food as long as he's not allergic. You know, like eggs for him, you know, we are not dead there. And that's fine because he reacted. That's fine, let it go. But as long as he's not, it's not against him, as long as it's not bad for him, let him eat it. So what he develops is perseverance, and even you get to enjoy. So I think our generation, that's what happened. You don't like this school, huyo mwalimu si mzuri, change class. Haupendi huyu mtoto, we achana na yeye, mpatie hiyo. As bad as telling a house help, mtoto amekukataa. It's true. And a lot of people say that. I later not toto, but I think if you have a bad vibe about someone, you can't, you know, because that's your conviction. So if you feel unsafe about someone, that's fine. But not that we teach children, and not that we are so imperfect in our parenting. Look at us saying 14 months. But what we are learning is, it's that. So by the time someone can't hack a marriage, it didn't start in marriage. You get it? I couldn't hack this course, I don't like it.
This job.
I couldn't hack this job. And that's the same thing. We see millennials jumping from one job to another. So if I ate what I want, went to the school I want, changed what I want, then now I keep a spouse. Itakuwaje. So I think that's the thing. So even for us, let's learn to just persevere. And then in marriage, I think, then there's hope.
Great.
Yeah.
And George said something. I like the analogy you gave.
Yeah.
As long as you've not been taught how to handle something, it will not grow like roots in the eventually when you're all grown. And also something George said, it's what did you say? I've now forgotten my train of thought.
He says so many wise things.
I've forgotten my train of thought. You know, I'm thinking about.
Was it about conflict
like,
or?
Maybe
You wanted
I'll
to
get
go
it
back
as
to
we
conflict, did
continue.
you? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to conflict. Anyway, I'll get it and then I'll say when
I feel
when
it,
we.
it is fine. The Lord will.
I will get it. So we want to take a musical break, and when we come back, we'll have some games for the couples, and of course, you at home, you can also play with us. So stay tuned.
We have like 4 questions actually, 5 questions. That
Yes, for the game.
Yeah, not exactly even. So many guys have asked 2 questions.
Oh, okay, great.
Regarding the topic, but we'll be coming back to them. Faith may change. I'm telling you, Faith na nyamaza, Georgia naongea. God is great. God is great. God is great. Anyway, tunaenda musical break kidogo. We'll be back soon.
taking over. I'm in a vintage hell. Tell him I'm taking over. What a boss won't tell me. Speaking tongues and tell me. They confuse and tell me. Fire phone and tell me. Breaking all the captivity. Told you what activity. Me I get immunity. Holy Ghost is divinity. What a boss won't tell me. Speaking tongues and tell me. They confuse and tell me. Fire phone and tell me.
Ain't nobody fit to stop my spiritual flow. Stepping out of place with no physical gun. You should already know. I want to rob a baba. Girl, I want to rob a baba. I want to rob a baba myself. Girl, I'm speaking for them. Oh, Molly, you want. I want to rob a baba. Girl, I want to rob a baba. I want to rob a baba myself. Girl, I'm speaking for them. Oh, Molly, you want. Stepping out of place with no physical gun. You should already know. I want to rob a baba. Girl, I want to rob a baba. I want to rob a baba myself. Girl, I'm speaking for them. Oh, Molly, you want. I want to rob a baba. Girl, I want to rob a baba. I want to rob a baba myself. Girl, I'm speaking for them. Oh, Molly, you want.
For me, blessing is cooking, I see. Blessing is cooking, look at this, and be hooking, look and pray at the key. Everything I think he bring to pass, I think he passed. Every other got in fact, we feel lean back. Forget terminal, my goose back with a general. Bad dress, shoes black, too bad, you married federal. They don't get it, yeah. Money, get it. Wisdom the principal thing. Whatever you got, please get it.
They don't get it. Money, get it. Wisdom the principal thing. Whatever you got, please get it.
Regrets, see ya latex. See when he oopsie mess up a bishandor. Difficult for a young person could bar. That's undeniably true, cause sobriety is hard to maintain in society today, but see impossible. Thanks Lord, you wash my mistakes away. Na kila siku nina fight na effects. I have strong urges, that's one consequence of my sin. Which brings me to the purpose of this conversation. Nasaka strength ya kufight easy temptation. Nasaka strength ya kutia zi, ya kushikilia purity. Hata kama sijiski, na sina otherwise, nope, sina budi. Nikki Slicky, easy feelings in a Rudy. Nope, see juhudi, it's all by grace. I need you to finish this race. I don't wanna start something I later on regret. Cause I got nothing on my ring finger. Yeah, I got nothing on my ring finger. I don't wanna start something I later on.
You should go inside. It's getting cold. Have a good night.
Hey, would you like to come in and see the yearbook I was telling you about?
So I got nothing on my ring finger, nothing on my ring finger, nothing on my ring finger. Every day the cravings get stronger. I have to die daily, so I can't afford to linger. Many times I wanna sell my birthright just to get some, like Jacob's twin. I was born in sin, my mind twisted, though I'm still a verb. Like the airline, walls broken down. I need you to repair mine. Messed up so many times, crossed so many lines, Lord, for sure your forgiveness is divine. Umenipa nafasi kubadili mwenendo, ngono kabla pete ni last, si upendo, tendo, hili ni disaster recipe, achieve will at the expense of destiny, devil using curiosity to get the best of me, life in the flesh is the death of me, I don't wanna.
I've run out of answers, I've run out of time, and I'm so confused that I'm losing my mind. It's gonna take a miracle to help me this time. I'm traveling a road that has not one sign. Help me, ooh, have mercy, oh yeah, set my soul free. And let the bell in my heart ring. Oh, this is my cry. Hey, this is my plea. You see, I need an angel. I'm calling an angel. Send me an angel down. Oh, see, I need an angel, calling an angel, send me an angel down. I'm carrying a load that's too heavy for me. Have nowhere to go, so I'm down on my knees. I'm trying to see the forest, but there's this one tree. Can't understand why I'm sinking so deep. Help me, help me. Won't you have mercy? Set my soul free, please, and let the bell in my heart ring. Oh, this is my cry. This is my plea. I need an angel. I need an angel. Send me an angel. Send it all down. Hear me now.
I need an angel, and I'm telling you that's Ruben. Now we're going straight to your feedback. By the nakwambia, today we have a lot of feedback. There's something about watu na mapenzi. Every time we do this topic, feedback iko hivi. Now straight to our WhatsApp, tulisema uweke picha pale ndio uweze kuonekana pale mtaani, watu wajue ni wewe. And most definitely haya, this is the no watching from Eldoret ama LD. Mad show, Crossover guides me and brings me closer to salvation each and every time. Asante sana, that's the no. Alafu tuko nani mwingine pale, we have hi Crossover, I love the show and say hi to Faith. Atujui ni nani, hajaweka hata picha. Okay, Faith umesalimiwa. Partnership in marriage can work through communication. Being able to communicate with your partner all the time makes it easier for it to work. This is done from Ruiru. Asante sana. Yes, ndio nilisema hivyo, ndio tufanye hivyo. Thank you. This is a lay anasema okay, lay your marriage, anaitwa nani by the way, hapa chini. Lay your marriage foundation in Christ and your relationship will sail through. Your boy MCK Ant, locked in at home. Kindly play me Nina Form by Kellyanne. Ameitisha ngoma yake inakam. Asante sana. There we go, another selfie. Watching from Thika. I like your outfit gaze. Mko sawa. Niko ndani ya show vibaya sana. Asante sana. Who else do we have? Yes, there we go. My boys naona pale watatu. Yeah. Aha. Thank you for tuning in. Wanasema hivi. They can be one by sharing emotions and ideas together as one soul. Watching from Kisumu, Nyakach, the show is, oh my God. Asante sana, tumekuona pale na boys, Salimia boys, tumerudi hapo. Huyu ako na TV pale kwenye mti, asante sana kwa sababu ya kuvuruta stima mpaka hapo na kuweka aerial. So anasema saseni ni Joseph kutoka Nakuru. I really love your show and you guys look awesome. I want to wish you and my family members a happy Valentine's. Let's always love each other because it's a free gift from God. Blessed day na wapenda zaidi. Nakushukuru sana. Tuko na ingine. This is a lovely one. Here we go. This Valentine is not about me. I celebrate my parents. I love you, mom and dad. May God keep blessing you. Mwah. hajasema ni nani, but wazazi wake wamejiona. This is it. Huyu selfie ni kama kidogo waligawana na kabat. Love can only work if you have partnership, faithful and companionship with each other, and in love with the and involve God when doing everything. Love, hashtag love and love God. Asante sana. Huo si mtu mchoyo. Ni kama kama ni mlango. Yes, ni mlango. We have another one. So we call it that way. So we're going straight to Grace and the panelist. Watuambie nini wanatufanyia. But before, kuna question by the way, someone alikuwa ameuliza hapa hivi. Let me see. Yes. Here we go. Someone aliuliza hivi, Rapper J from our Twitter handle aliuliza, quick question to the couples on set. Akauliza, how much sacrifice can you say is enough to sacrifice in a relationship? Okay? How much sacrifice can you say is enough to sacrifice in a relationship? That's Rapper J. Alafu tuko na mtu mwingine wa pili hapa, nimeona ameuliza kitu poa sana. Aida Wanjiru anasema, tuned in as a woman in waiting. Haya, kindly expound on finances and how to combine, make them one. So finances, na huyu mwingine ameuliza kuhusu sacrifice. How much can one sacrifice in a relationship? Ukijibu hizo umekuwa umejibu kila mtu. Nilikwambia shilingi, lazima watu waseme. Anyway, Grace, on your side now.
I think we need to answer those questions quickly.
Yes.
And then we get to the game.
So
the question was, first of all, how much sacrifice is sacrifice?
Yeah.
In a relationship, does it ever get to a brim? You say this is enough sacrifice, I can't do it anymore.
Ama inakuanga tu ni mimi najitoleanga tu. It's all about me. It's a one
way,
too all the time. Traffic.
Yeah.
Ni mimi tu. Isipokuwa ni mimi hii kitu gego imeanguka.
Right? Samo.
In my
hata kama ako kazini ataambiwa. Utasoma. Sasina, you were saying something.
In my view, I think there is not a place you can ever get to a place where you're saying, I've done enough. I've done enough and I can't do any more.
Okay.
And I think that's what agape love is about. Agape love is about you giving 100% even if the other person is not giving 100%.
Okay.
So there's never enough sacrifice to give.
Okay.
Especially when you're married.
Especially when you're married.
Yeah.
You like we were saying before, we are in it for forever. And we've had to have the conversation of what is the one thing that could make us split.
The deal breaker.
And we say there can't be ever anything that causes us to split. That we will be together, even to the craziest of things that we've talked about.
Right,
Yes.
great, awesome. So when people are talking about divorce, it means they've reached to a place where they can't sacrifice anymore, because there's the absence of agape love.
Granted that we have had to have serious conversations on what if the spouse gets violent, then that's a place for you at least to separate for your own safety.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. Great. The other question was on finances. Mo, you want to read that again?
Yeah, about finances, Acha niangalie. Haya, going back. Yes, here we have. Yes, tuned in as a woman in waiting. Kindly expound on finances and how to combine, make them one. I think it's all about how do couple
sharing of bank accounts, talking
accounts,
about your pay, you know, telling the other person how much you earn and all that. Maybe you'd want to respond?
I think I'll talk to her as a lady in waiting. Work on you. Pray for them. Actually, that's the bottom line of marriage. So work on your finances. Are you saving? Are you dealing with any bad habits you have? How are your debts? Because marriage is, money won't come in the marriage. It's you, how you handle money and how him. So for you who's waiting, how are you handling your finances? Are you faithful? Are you tithing? Are you investing? Are you saving? All that. Then now when you come together is when you now decide and find your own rhythm based on God's word. But the principles have to be honesty and vulnerability. Bank account, you don't have to share. It's really up to you guys. But ultimately, how will this money make us more one than the opposite?
So the place of talking about it also.
Talking about it and putting systems that make you closer. And I'll connect that with something. It's one of the marriage advisors who we listen to. And this could seem different, but they're like, so your partner snoop on your phone. And guys were like, don't. If you trust me, you won't look at my phone. But then he was like, but no one's trustworthy. Look at their phone. Do you get it? Because the Bible says if you think you're standing, so you're falling. So you don't check someone's phone because you don't trust them, but it should be, and that's why auditors don't audit companies because people are not trustworthy. But you have auditors to help you continue being faithful. So put structures in place that will keep you accountable, because no one is above reproach. No one is above anything. So look for your systems. For you, are you faithful in your finances as a single lady? And
Just a
Yeah,
quick
I think
quick
so,
comment
yeah.
Very quickly. It's very important to also realize that money is a gift from God. We are stewards. He is the source. And it's important as a person, if you understand that money is not your security is in God. And God provides that money to you. And when you meet someone else, and hopefully you could be at a point where your views on that are aligned, you know, you start a family, and beyond that you'll have children and you'll have the next generation. Money is a big one. Christ talked about more than many other things. And if you don't get it right, I'm glad she's thinking about money. And it's something you need to talk about because it's part of the partnership. When you get children and when the time for you to transition and leave those children with whatever God will have blessed you with, if you have the right values, and as a man, right values as a woman, and you taught the right values to your children, you're less likely to have problems. You know, we have many succession issues in this country. Many prominent families are in endless court battles. It's not because that the money is not enough. It's too much sometimes. It's just that the values and the principles of how to be stewards were not right in the whole family.
Great. So you have your answer. Thank you so much for the answers you've given. Sorry, because of time, we will have to stop there.
That's fine.
Hopefully, we will continue some other time. Okay, we get to the game. So we're going to play a game, and I have the two couples in studio, and everybody's going to hold the shoe of your spouse. Yours and your spouse's shoe, sorry. So, Murai, unataka kukuja kuwa hapa, lakini sasa wewe spouse wako yuko.
Mimi ni refa.
Ni walifanya hii maneno mo.
Wacha nikwambie, unajua alifanyisha watu hivyo. Kumbe hii dunia ni ndogo.
You know, when size 8 came, we chose out this game against them.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Now here you go.
What goes around?
It revolves around.
So the game is who has, okay? So we're good. I'm going to ask you a question, and if it is you, you put your shoe up. If it is your spouse, you put your spouse's shoe up. And you're not looking at each other so that you're not saying, oh, neka yoki atu kwa nini. You know? So if Faith thinks it's George, you put George's shoe up. If George thinks it's Faith, you put the shoe up. Faith's shoe up, okay? Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay, so if it is a question you can't answer, please laugh. So that I
You
know.
have to answer.
I have to be careful. Moriah,
Yeah?
I have to be careful.
Someone
She's
has-
couples here.
I'm here.
I'm sowing seeds.
Nitakuwa nimekukiwaki, nitakuwa nimekuprotect.
Bouncer,
Yeah.
Anasema hivyo juu ya hajibu hapa sasa.
Should I sit or should I also stand?
No.
Nisimame hapo na wewe.
I don't know. Kuja hapa just in case.
Let me stand. Wanirushie kiatu.
Unaweza sikia
They could throw it at me.
There we go.
Okay, great. So with my referee here, number one question: who has ever had a crush while they were married? Maybe you had a crush on a celebrity somewhere.
Kwani zinawekwa chini?
Why are you putting your shoes down? Watu wamekataa kujibu.
Mark. Hey, nilikwambia. Haya. Number 2. We boycott
this game.
Yeah.
Okay, that one they've refused to answer. Let it be known.
Yes.
Number 2, who has ever had left the lights on when they went to sleep? Msiangaliane, please.
Ati George anazimanga. Ai, everyone, ngoja. Hapa kuna kitu.
The men are not sure.
Hebu soma tena kwa sababu.
Watu wasiangaliane, please. Make sure your back is facing the other person.
Men sleep first. That's the moral of the story.
Oh, okay. So
we
men
don't
sleep
know.
before the women. So it's the women who leave the lights on.
We don't even know. We are asleep.
How about in the morning?
Yeah. Or when you're leaving the house.
Nani aliacha hii light on?
You know, it's men who are known to be the ones who will complain
Because
a
the men
lot.
sleep early, you wake up in the middle of the night and you find the lights are on. You're wondering,
Who did it? It can't be you. It can't be a man. It can't be a man. It can't be a man.
So we have established it's the women. Okay, the ladies are quiet. Aya, so who has ever slept to the music playing?
Okay. Yeah,
This one's are both. What this one are not decided.
No,
We don't do stuff like that.
Hey, the music.
We're
It's
sleeping.
not possible.
It's not like a
Okay, how is
you
it
guys
possible?
can't.
Wait,
Yeah, why would you leave the music playing?
He tells me not to leave the music on.
Yeah.
But you could be praying. You could be have the.
worship chini ya maji.
You
Wow,
know,
that's good.
when
That's
you're
a good
praying
one.
and then
Being nice.
Yeah, I know.
He was like,
Ati praying.
like music. And some of us are sleeping. Anyway.
Hizi wale mnasemanga amen asubuhi. Ukisikiza worship. Okay, great. Who has ever taken something without permission?
Something like what?
From them. Yeah.
Wewe lazima uombe ruhusa.
Faith is that good one, eh?
Without permission.
Yeah. Without asking the other one, can I take it?
Why are you lifting my shirt?
Even I am wondering why she's
The
speaking
instructions are not to look.
You should. This is where you look. Sorry, you know what? I looked and then I'm like, it's true.
So you've taken something with
When
that
I was
permission.
pregnant, I had to wear his shirts because mine were not fitting.
Alafu unaweka
And
kwa
even this
Instagram.
one should be there.
Basi mimi nitajibu na nani?
Ulieka t-shirt, ulieka picha ati nani
t-shirt.
mama amevaa t-shirt yako.
Lakini mimi alikuwa ameniuliza.
Oh, okay, sawa. Aya, sawa. Who has ever wished to be a superhero? That in your other life would have been a superhero. Nyinyi wazuri. Amjai wish kukuwa commando.
Really you are realistic.
Tunajua.
Because when you're married, you know the other person. So
You don't want to be
Utoke ukose alafu urudi. Haya.
Who has ever cried while watching a movie? Moraya has never cried.
Yeah, I've never.
The way you're emotional.
No, it's because nini najua ni acting.
Sawa, women are known to be crying when movie.
Haya.
Okay, who has ever tried to repeat an action movie or scene in the house? You saw something in an action movie and then you repeated it in the house.
Ngoja kidogo. Maybe what
Peer pressure.
which one?
Which one was it? Yeah, which one was it? Which one was it?
It would have to be those love.
No. There's another one you repeated the other day. We should.
how high?
Okay. The one for I think Kingsman.
Where?
Kingsman Mambo Baya. There's no way I didn't
And another
try.
one for that guy who who went to war without a gun.
Oh yes.
What was
it called?
So he was acting.
Hacksaw Ridge. Yes.
God must be crazy.
Okay, great.
I love you, Pedro.
The director should intervene.
Okay, great. Who has ever stuck chewing gum under the table or chair? Semeni ukweli.
Hapa ni.
Whose house?
I feel like people are not being honest.
Hapa ina hotel.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in the house. It can be in the vehicle, kwa mat.
I think you're saying ufanye hizo vitu. Hizo
Ama kwa meeting. Unajua alikuwa anafikiria
Mtajiona kwa blog.
walikuwa na expect uulize nani anakulanga sana? Nani anamkanga mapema?
And who makes the bed?
Nani who makes the bed?
No, we are not asking those
We
ones.
know that we know.
So you guys don't do that? You've never done it?
They've never done it.
Ni CCTV.
Ask
Utajiona kwa blog.
Ask guys to people and tell them pick your bottle and put it back in the car.
No throwing garbage on the floor.
So it's just you,
sawa.
Grace.
Nairobi City Council kazi.
Hapa kuna nini?
kazi.
Kuna potential people. They could be used to
The
bring
next one.
law and order, to enforce law and
next
order. Okay, great. Who has ever gone to bed angry with the other one?
What Bible inasema?
Hey.
Bible
Do not sleep. Do not let the sun go down in your
The sun
house.
had already gone down.
Yeah.
So we wait for the other one so it doesn't go down.
Okay.
Or even it was just apple to.
So both of you.
Then unasikia unaamshwa. Wait. Before the sun is up.
Okay, great. So kwa nyinyi wote. Okay, the last one then we finish. Who has ever regifted a gift, something they were given by somebody, then they give it back to their... You regift. I give you a gift, or maybe you've been given by someone, and then you can even, no, not necessarily the two.
I gave someone else.
Yes.
No, you give someone else ama alirudishia the same person alimpea.
Not the same person.
Someone else.
Yeah.
Hata mimi nilitu.
So try kiatu yako.
With children and diapers, lazima.
Okay, great. And then you guys, you are just too proper. Nini watu wawili wapigeni makofi. They've done such a good job.
Maybe they can say the final
These two
word as I go
couples.
back to
Yes,
my office.
maybe yes, you can go back to your office.
Wasalimie pia unajua wazazi.
Watume salamu. Sasa kamera yao ni gani? Unajua sasa.
Any, you have like 16.
Maybe you guys can say something fine as a parting shot before we wind up the show. Okay. Tuanze na nani? Ladies. Oh, ladies first. Okay, good.
Ladies first, parting shot.
Yes.
I think ultimately in marriage is work on me and pray for the other person, because you can't change a human being,
but the power that raised Christ from the dead is available. I want to speak to anyone who maybe your marriage, you feel your marriage is falling apart or it's broken. And I know God keeps asking this question, is there anything too hard for the Lord? So pray and seek his face. And if you're single and you're wondering, who is my spouse? Walk with God and he'll reveal to you as you walk with him. So don't look for a prophet to tell you. God wants to have a relationship with you. And as you walk, he shows you your spouse. As you walk, he shows you your job. As you walk, he shows you your career. So walk with God. And is there anything, even for the people who are waiting and wondering, where's my husband? Is there anything too hard for the Lord? There's nothing hard for him.
Great. Okay. George?
I think for me, I'd like to say that the Bible says in the book of Corinthians, I think 2:19 will confirm, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no human mind has imagined or conceived what the Lord can do for those who love the Lord. So be open. If you're not married, if you're not in a relationship, you're not dating, just be open. Sometimes you just need to be in the space where you have to be surprised. Let God surprise you. Don't be so closed up. You may have had a bad relationship in the past. You're still stuck with that anger and all that bitterness. Just be open. And the thing about marriage, God makes it so beautiful as it goes by. So marriage may come upon your life and transform. You'll be in spaces like I'm sitting here and I would have never imagined sitting in a space like this talking to the viewers, watazamaji. But that's what marriage does, and that's what the journey that God is able to take you on. So just be open, flow, invite Christ into your relationships, into your search, whatever level you are at, and it will be amazing. It turned out amazing.
Great. There you have it from the Googies, and then now the C journeys.
Yes.
Thank God for today. Hey, it's not tongue twister. Hey.
Yeah. I want to say that marriage is work. I think we are in a generation where many young people are very, they're very unsure about getting into the institution of marriage, and it works. But it is hard work. But the hard work is on yourself because you need to constantly work on yourself. Izo stories are, but I'm like this. Those are things that are a telltale sign that you need to work on, and those are the things that will enhance your marriage. When you're working on yourself, then your partner is working on themselves, the marriage becomes really wholesome. And then when you start to partner, when you start to agree on things together, you will start to see a lot of things working for your good. And yeah, it'll be bliss. Really, it'll be bliss. Yeah.
As you work on it.
As you work on it, yes. But the Askers also have a vlog. Please check it out. It's called the Marriage Gazebo. We're just sharing about our lives and how
Marriage
we do.
Gazebo.
Yeah,
Okay,
Marriage Gazebo. Just check on it. It'll be fun. It'll be real. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Finally,
I think one of the greatest lessons I ever learned was that marriage is not about a half person and a half person coming to become one. God said it will be one man, one woman coming and becoming one. His mathematics are not ours for 1 and 1 making 2. So it's this one person. So now for the single, now that you have the time to be single, please just be single. Don't rush it. Don't be too overly excited about being in the marriage thing. Take time to know you. I had a guy say, if you bore yourself, don't expect that you won't bore the other person. So spend time with yourself before you seek to engage someone in your life.
if you're boring on your own, don't expect to be a comedian when you get into marriage. Thank you so much, guys. It's been fun having you. Thank you so much for coming. Faith, really nice to have you, and George, and of course the journeys. You guys, I'm going to tick in my diary. I said everything right. Nasija Shema. I know he was waiting for me.
You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you so much. Bless God. Okay, Mariah.